Welcome to Lead Different, the podcast that redefines leadership and challenges the status quo. Hosted by Daniel Dominguez, founder and CEO of Why Not Leadership. This show is your compass to becoming a better leader through the power of self-awareness. Good leaders foster teams that are engaged, empowered, and energized. Join us on this transformative journey as we equip you with the tools and insights to lead different. Get ready to challenge the ordinary and embrace self-aware leadership. This is Lead Different.
Subscribe now. Discover a new era of leadership. Lead different, because great leaders change the world.
Greetings, Why Not champions, and welcome to the Lead Different podcast. I'm excited to share our guest with you today. Today, we're talking to the one and only Dr. Regeline Gigi Sabbat, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. But one of the things that I had the opportunity to talk with her about almost a year ago and address her audience at her conference was faith and leadership. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Regeline Gigi Sabbat. She is a first-generation Haitian American. She's a motivational keynote speaker, a 5-time best-selling author, and the CEO of Life Service Center of America. She is a life and confidence coach, a financial expert, an advocate for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. Dr. Gigi empowers individuals to grow spiritually, professionally, and personally. She hosts the award-winning Walk With Me podcast, which I've been blessed to be a guest on JRQ TV, and serves as the Florida chapter leader for the World Women Conference and Awards. She uses her voice and platform to inspire inspirational growth. So without further ado, let me bring on stage Dr. Gigi Sabbat. How are you, Dr. Gigi?
Fantastic. I have a cold, but I'm pushing through it.
I love it. You know, I knew that a cold wasn't going to get in the way of us being able to be here together today. So thank you for being on. Make sure you drink fluids, you're taking your vitamin C and doing all those things to get, I know mom's probably making soup for you too.
Oh yes, for sure. Yes. And she has me on the nebulizer for breathing purposes. So
perfect. Well, we hope you don't sound bad. You sound as energetic and as strong as ever. I said to you in the pre-show, you know, Gigi Sabbat at 50% is better than most of us at 100%. So we'll take you just how you are. And we're excited to talk to you, to talk about your journey, to talk about how you are leading different, Dr. Gigi. Through everything that you're doing, you're just involved in so much. If I had your energy, I can't imagine what I would be able to do. So I'm very grateful to have been introduced to you by our friend, Melanie Aka, a few years ago. Yes. But we've done a few collaborations. I've been on a few of your global conferences that you are so good at organizing. And then I actually had the opportunity to meet you in person and visit you in Florida at the Global Warrior Conference last September. Was that September?
Yes, the second annual Global Warriors Conference in South Florida. It was such an honor to meet you in person, Dan.
It was amazing. You know, my favorite part was getting to meet your mom and dad. They're just so nice, so amazing. You can see where you get your energy, where you get your personality from, your intelligence. They're just such great people. So really enjoyed meeting them there and in Florida at the Global Warrior Conference. So before we go on, I'd like you to tell us your background. Tell us a little bit about your background, Dr. Gigi.
Absolutely.
What is it that brought you to become an advocate for women and especially domestic violence and sexual assault victims? I want to make sure we start there because I think that's a big part of what motivates you.
Great question, Dan. So essentially a few years ago, I almost lost my life, death by strangulation, domestic violence relationship. And after everything that happened, I stepped into God's purpose for my life. And I launched a podcast, the books, and the company Life Service Center of America. And then God also led me to host events. It started off with domestic violence and sexual assault, topics that I'm a survivor of. But then he also led me to host them on various subjects. I mean, leadership, business, confidence, pregnancy, human trafficking, you name it. We have not stopped since. And that's just us listening to God and what he needs us to do here. This is possible because of the team, and I'm truly grateful.
You are doing exactly, I love that you're walking with God as your guide. And that's not ever far from your lips, and it's not far from your heart, and it's not far from your thoughts. What gives you, what do you attribute your deep faith to?
Yes, so I am a Christian, and essentially letting go and letting God, understanding whose we are the children of God, and understanding that He is in control, and being able to allow that. And so I speak with individuals often, and what I hear is that that's one of the most difficult things for folks is to let God be in control. And so this is what I say: you need to just remember whose you are and let go and let Him.
Let go and let God is something you say all the time.
Yes.
But it is hard because we're wired. I think our culture says you got to control, right? You've got to be in charge. You've got to, if you can't do it for yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. So we have this ethos that we kind of absorb as we're growing up, that if you got to be in charge. But there's a freedom that comes from letting go and letting God. I listened to a talk last week, and one of the things the speaker said was ego is probably our biggest enemy when it comes to that. And she said what she called it, she goes, when your ego is in charge, you're edging God out. And I love that. Ego means edging God out. You're not letting God come into your life and lead you. So what was it that, you mentioned your survival story,
Right?
but what was it that led you to begin working and advocating for victims? What made you say, you know what, I got to be the one that goes out there and gets this word out about this stuff?
Such a great question. So I'll never forget my friend, Michael D. Butler. He's also my publisher, and he's also a pastor. And I remember us just chatting it up, and I remember him saying, you need to share your story. It may help someone. He never said that it would. And I sat with that and I prayed, and that's a direction that God gave me. It's okay. It's okay. And some of the things that I'm sharing today, I mean, my God, I never in a million years would have thought I'd be sharing, but it's not about me. It's about the people that I serve. And again, releasing that, letting go and letting Him.
That's really good. So you started Life Service Center of America. A lot of people listening, and I follow you and I see everything you're involved in. Plus, you just started studying for the bar exam. So, if you're not busy enough already, we want to make sure we put that out there, because we want everybody put Dr. Gigi Sabbat in your prayers, so that she has a successful bar exam. When is the test?
Yes. So July. So we're looking at July here in California. I'm really looking forward to it.
Perfect.
And God is good. God is good. And here's what I tell folks all the time: don't give up. Don't give up. And have faith as small as a mustard seed, and keep moving forward. Give your battles to Him.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that, because our podcast, and we're recording this, we're not going to be airing this for a week. So if you go back, you'll see we just I mentioned in the pre-show, I'm working with another amazing Christian leader who owns a moving company. The name of his company is Faith Moving Company. And he was inspired by that very quote you just said. So I invite you to, if you're listening, of course, this is post, we premiered that on Friday, the 23rd, May 23rd. You can go back and listen to Nick Fehrenbach and talk about his journey following his faith. And we're here talking today with Dr. Gigi. Dr. Gigi, what is it that you just love to do? What is it that you wake up every morning ready to do? And you wouldn't, if you weren't getting paid, you'd still do it.
Serving others. I've been doing it my entire life, but this is what I tell folks all the time. It's now on a spiritual platform, the spiritual platform He has given me. And I don't take that lightly. I understand what He's called me to do. And it's important to stay in purpose, what a lot of my friends are calling purpose. And so it's not having one foot in and one foot out. No, you have to have both feet in purpose and continue to do what He's called you to do here. And so for me, it's serving, and I love it. I do this all day, every day. I love it. When you love what you do, it's no longer work.
Yeah, and you know, we met through our friend Melanie Ake. One of the things we always like to talk about is your why operating system, because it's the tool we use at Why Not Leadership with all our clients, and we want to make sure everybody who's listening understands where Gigi's coming from. And so your why is trust,
Yes.
Gigi, and we know what we know about people with your why is they're extremely dependable. They do what they say they're going to do, and they expect that from others with whom they work and with whom they interact. Your how is simplify. So you're somebody who likes to keep things simple, make things that are maybe complicated for others, take them and simplify them to their essence. And I see that even in the way we converse, your answers are concise, quick, and to the point. Simplicity is important to you, and your what is contribute, making a difference, making a positive impact in the lives of others. How have you, and you know, you've known this now for a while. You invited me to your conference, and I talked about YOS to your attendees. How has knowing this about yourself, how does it show up in your work, in the things that you do? Trust is simplifying and contributing to the success of others.
Such a great question. And so it does go hand in hand with the type of work that I do. Understanding who you are and how you operate is very important. But not just that, being able to meet people where they are is also important. And I'm grateful for my mentors who came before me. And I'm so grateful for my mentors, and listening into those individuals who came before me, words of wisdom. And it's important to listen, but not just that. As my wise mentor, Bob Proctor, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, has said, if you have the knowledge, you need to be able to provide it and give it to the individuals. It would be so selfish for us to keep it to ourselves. It's selfless to now give it to the individuals.
So the famous quote is, our gifts are not our own, right? Our gifts were given to us so that we can share them with others. And it's almost like putting your light under a bushel, right? You can't do that. You've got to share it, and you've got to help bring others up alongside you as you move along. What are you excited about right now, Dr. Gigi? What are you working on right now? Besides, oh, by the way, you're flying to California to take a bar exam in July, and I know you've always got a bunch of projects going on at once. What's a big project you're working on right now?
A big project is with you, Dan, and that's our first annual Global Neurodivergent Leaders Summit. That's on July 9th at noon with amazing speakers from all over the world. We have 6 speakers.
You know, I want to thank you for helping me bring that to life, Gigi. I started talking to some friends of mine. I started noticing something about us who happen to be neurodivergent, whether you have ADHD or ADD, you've been diagnosed formally or not, whether you've got issues with communication, autism, you're on the spectrum. There's something important about understanding that neurodivergence is not a negative thing. It's a positive. There's so many gifts that come with neurodiversity. And one of the things we talked about at one of your global summits that I attended, I talked about the gift of ADHD and how it helps us be more creative. So we've got I think Rosie Ward, Kathy Marcino, we've got Ken Cravens, Manny Pinero, we've got Raymond Kemp, and Dave Delaney, and we've got a couple others that may yet join that I don't have on the list already. But when we look at that list, these are all incredible leaders who have either been formally or informally diagnosed. But these are people that think outside the box, do things differently, tend to not follow the norm, but they're incredibly successful. And I remember thinking to myself, there's a need for people to see these people who are successful and to hear their stories. But I didn't know how I was going to do that. So I reached out to you, and lo and behold, I mean, within days, we had a list, we had photos of our speakers, we started publicizing, we put out the initial ad. We want as many people there as possible. What would you say to someone who's thinking about attending the event, Dr. Gigi? What can we expect from? We know we're so blessed to have you as our host, but what can people expect to learn?
Such a great question. And so essentially you will learn what neurodivergent means, and lots of value will be provided. This is an event you do not want to miss. Make sure to reserve your virtual seat via Eventbrite. Again, we are going to hear from amazing speakers from all over the world. I'm grateful for our co-host, Dan Dominguez. I'm also grateful for all of our speakers and our sponsors as well. And for those of you who will be attending or listening in, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gigi. And for those of you that are thinking about attending, here's what I want you to consider. If you've ever been told you're an odd bird or you're different, if you're the one that always stands out from the crowd, if you're the one people come to when they need creativity, or if you're on the other side of it and it's not a positive thing, right? Where you've been ostracized. Have you ever been hired? I know that one of our speakers, our potential speakers, talks about the fact that there are people that get hired for our very gifts of thinking outside the box and being different. But Paul wrote a book called The Fired Leader. These people also end up getting fired for those very same traits they were hired for, right? So they bring us in, and it's so fun to meet Dan and all his crazy out of the box ideas. He's got so many ideas. We can't wait to see what he does to our division, how he takes us to the next level. But there's negatives that come with that, and I wouldn't necessarily consider them negatives, but there are things we have to deal with when you have somebody who goes from shiny object to shiny object to shiny object really fast. We have to surround that person with the right people to make sure that we stay within the guardrails that will help us succeed, right? And so there's positives and negatives to everything, right? That we know in the why language, we talk about people with the why of right way, who tend to do things by the book, always follow the rules. And guess what? There's negatives to that, right? Because those are the same people who often will say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Let's just do it the same way. We've always done it that way. And so they tend to stifle innovation. So again, we need rules and we also need creativity. And bringing those together is a great, great combination. So if you're thinking about attending, I am so proud to be a part of one of Dr. Gigi's global events and to actually co-host with her. I think it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous program. We're planning on it being about 2 hours. So it's at noon Eastern on July 9th. And we're going to be on for a couple hours. You're going to have amazing speaker after amazing speaker. Dr. Gigi and I are going to host, and we're going to walk you through that. All of our speakers will have some great takeaways for those of you that attend. So we're going to put in the show notes, we're going to have a link to the program, and we're going to have a link to where you can sign up to attend. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. Dr. Gigi, thank you so much for helping me bring light to neurodivergent leadership.
You're welcome. It's always an honor to collaborate with you. And speaking of collaborating with you, we also collaborated on a collaborative book with friends from all over the world. And the book is called Voices for Leadership, Volume 2. I have it here. Dan, I believe you have a copy as well. Do you have it with you?
I do. Let's hold them up together. And this, we've got to make sure we get a screen capture and get this over to Brian Brogan, our fabulous coordinator, who he is just so committed. And I like that you call him a beautiful soul, and he is. He's an amazing person, an amazing leader who's doing great things in the world, but he's telling the stories of leadership through these collaborative books. You and I were in volume 2. I think we were blessed to be featured speakers or featured authors. And that was such a great experience going through that with Brian and the group, learning. You're a multiple time best-selling author.
Thanks, Dan.
Tell us about your books and the experience of becoming an author at a young age and being 5 times best-selling author at a very young age.
Such a great question. So I have the 2 of the books that I wrote myself here. So we have Walk With Me, and Walk With Me is all about helping others walk with purpose. And so when we talk about Walk With Me, it also is about helping others understand the importance of never giving up. Yes, you do not give up. I believe in you. Keep going. Keep the faith. And then when we talk about God first is all about helping others understand the importance of having him first, not just in our personal lives, but all areas of our lives. Yes, including businesses and relationships. And then we also have other collaborative books here. We have On the Front Lines with Royal Warriors with 𝗟𝗏 And then we also have Overcoming Heart Blocks, Inspiring Stories for Healing from Trauma. Yes, you can overcome. I believe in you. And then we also have Healing and Growth, Inspiring Stories for Massive Transformation. Now, everyone's healing journey is truly unique. I truly believe that your healing journey matters. Your voice matters. You can overcome. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm. That is so good. just everything you say, Dr. Gigi, is always talking about others. I was listening to a podcast with my good friend Liz Wendling earlier, and one of the things she taught me, that was a good lesson for me to learn, is always make it about your audience. Always make it about them, even in our communication, because at the end of the day, people don't hire Dr. Gigi, life coach, executive coach, to hear about you. They want to solve their problems, right? And so when we talk about people, but I listen to you, and you're even as you're talking to the camera, you're motivating people, even when you're just talking about the books you've written, and you're telling them, hey, I'm talking to you. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep the faith. Who are your clients? Who do you love to work with, Dr. Gigi?
I love working with others, again, who may have a goal that they're looking to achieve, but I love to stay in my scope. I know it very well as far as motivational speaking goes, and also life coaching and business coaching. I love to stay in my scope. So folks who have gone through our program have successfully launched a best-selling book. They've also launched a podcast. Now they're running successful shows. Yes, I said shows. My goodness, I'm blown away when I see folks that just they take the knowledge and the wisdom and everything that we applied during the program, and they take off. I love it. Those are the action takers, right? I love it. And then also too, we have folks who maybe they want to speak on stages. Maybe they spoke on my stage. They become what is called an LSCOA speaker. But not just that, they take it a step further, and now they're speaking worldwide or even hosting their own events. And I love what you said there. I want to circle back to what you said about it not being about us, right? It's about others. And so I actually have another book that I wrote by myself coming out here on June 9th. That's The Miracle Through the Storm, The Infinite Power of Faith. And again, it's not about us. And so I challenge you to read the book, and you'll see what I'm talking about as far as what's on the other side and how you can overcome. And that yes, miracles do happen. Now, this book is my first true crime book. It's quite different than my other books. This is not based on anything true, but again, it's my first true crime book, and there is a miracle that takes place. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away.
Oh, wait a minute. So it's a true crime book, but it's not based on anything that's true.
Correct. Nothing.
Okay. So and that's being published June 9th, you said?
Yes, June 9th.
So you've got a book coming out, you got a bar exam coming. We've got a program on July 9th. When is your bar exam?
July, that one is the 29th and the 30th. So
okay, so you got a little bit of time between our event and getting ready for that. And I just want to make sure everybody that's listening, we just lift you up in prayer and make sure that you are at your best when you go to that exam, and that you just passed with flying colors. And I just have a feeling you're going to.
Thanks, Dan. And then also we have our 3rd annual Global Warriors Conference coming up here. That's our in-person event of the year. That one is in Palm Coast, Florida. And
yes,
their in-person event of the year, 2-day event. Dan, we're honored to have you as a speaker, as well as amazing speakers from all over the world. Some folks who joined us previously will be joining us again. Beautiful souls, grateful for those individuals as well as our sponsors. And for those of you who will be attending or listening in, truly grateful for each and every one of you.
You know, I'm looking forward to that event, because that's in your hometown. Last time we did it in Broward County, so we were a little further away, but still a great gathering of people. I still have those fun pictures we took of everybody. I think we took an Uber and we filled it to capacity when we went to dinner, and such a great group of people. I'm staying in touch, actually. Gigi, Renee DiVincenzo and I are doing some work together, and it has been such a great experience to work with her. And I know she's on a podcast with you, or on a show with you, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. And that's how God is, right? God already knew. And literally, as I'm hosting this now podcast with Renee and Sherry, also one of our other speakers as well for the Global Warriors Conference, it's called the Rooted in Joy podcast. It has been such an honor to podcast with both of those amazing ladies, Renee and Sherry, beautiful souls. And I recommend listening in. Again, that's the Rooted in Joy podcast. And again, listen in during the conference as well. Those individuals have amazing advice. Listen in, take notes.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right that there's some great advice that we're going to hear from them. There's some great learning to be had.
Yes.
Dr. Gigi, this podcast is about leading different. And if you've been listening, you know that you can feel the energy that Dr. Gigi has. The other thing that I think is different is you don't shy away from combining your faith and your leadership together. What does it mean to combine your faith and your work into everything that you do?
Yes, and it's so important to allow him to move. And what I mean by that is when you get quiet, you can hear him. And again, it's not at our own direction, it's a his direction that we're doing these things. And it's such a blessing and an honor to see what he's able to do. It's quite interesting to see. I mean, my God, I've been now doing this through the Life Service Center of America company now for a few years, and what I'm able to see him do, and just again allowing him to move, it's just an amazing sight to see. And I continuously do that, and I plan to continue doing that throughout my entire life.
So what is you mentioned when you listen, you've got to be still. That's something that I have a hard time with. So what advice do you have for somebody? I've recently had an experience where I actually felt like, okay, I hear you, God, you're tapping me on the shoulder. This is what I've got to do. But I struggled to ever have that. I know you, and I know a few other people that are able to quiet themselves and listen and get into that still moment where they actually can hear the voice of God and get that guidance. But some of us are never going to hear it. So then we have to listen to other signals. So first of all, how do you get into that state? Give us some tips for that. And then how else can we listen besides when we hear him tell us what to do?
Absolutely. Now, this is powerful words of wisdom from a politician here, and beautiful soul. And again, when we get quiet, we can hear him. So allowing that space to hear him is so important. So if you are having trouble with that, get in a nice quiet place, stay still, and allow him to move.
So what kind of a place do you recommend? I mean, when I'm sure you help people get there. So for me, it's nature. I love being in nature. Sometimes I'll just walk outside, and we've got some trees in our yard, and just sit on a bench and try to be quiet. But the temptation is so big to grab your phone and scroll through social media, listen to a podcast. There's always great podcasts. I always want to listen to Gigi. I want to listen to my friend Liz. Monique DeMaio just put out a great podcast. So there's always stuff that can fill the space. So what recommendations do you have for actually getting that quiet?
Yes, for me, it's near the pool area, maybe out in nature. I love to write, obviously. I write poetry as well for my poets out there, or anyone else who loves to write. You know exactly what I'm talking about as far as being out in nature. Sometimes I found myself out there in nature, maybe writing a poem. I actually wrote one called The Wave not too long ago out in nature. And it's, again, in those quiet areas. It's amazing. I've also, in the past, I've wrote one by the beach. I mean, things of that nature where it's nice and quiet, maybe in the piano room, somewhere quiet, nice and quiet, or just a room where there's not a lot of noise. You don't need a lot of sound. I love music, but you need to know when to shut off the music too.
Right. Now, that's so important. So let's say you don't hear that. So you've obviously made some decisions in your life based on the Lord just speaking to you and giving you guidance. But what if you're not getting that moment, but there's signs, right? How do you recognize the signs? What stories? I know you work with so many people. How have other people recognized the signs that you've helped them recognize to say, hey, you're supposed to be doing this. Here's a tap on the shoulder that God's not maybe directly talking to you, but he just did this, and maybe you ought to follow it.
Right. So oftentimes what I've noticed is there's a disconnect. So we need to acknowledge that there's a disconnect. What's happening? Well, why is there a disconnect? Right. And I love what Dr. Phil says. You need to acknowledge first and foremost that there is an issue. Right. And so once we're able to determine, again, that there is a disconnect here, we're able to now to face it. Right. And once that awareness key is there. And now, actually, when we talk about where can you begin to build a relationship with him, it's with his words, right? So the Bible, right? His words. So great place to start. And I love what Joyce Meyer says. It's not one and done. It's continuously doing so, continuously reading his words and listening in. It's not one and done. Don't just flip through the chapters. No, no, no. Read his words. So important.
Yeah, it's so important to actually take the time to not just read, but actually absorb, right? Yeah. And so it's not speed reading. You can get through the Bible pretty fast if you speed read it, but it's actually taking the time to listen and hearing what's in there for you. That's such great advice. Thank you so much. Dr. Gigi, this is a leadership podcast, and we're going to talk about leadership. Tell me, if I knew you 5 years ago, and I know you as the amazing leader you are today, what's the biggest difference I would notice from 5 years ago to today? What's the biggest area of growth you've had in your leadership?
For me, as far as leadership, I think that it's the people that we serve, right? They actually, when we're actually assisting, they actually help us, right? We find ourselves, they actually help us too. And it's quite interesting because I believe that we are also able to learn from one another and allowing that space, right? To be transparent, but you need to be able to be what is called vulnerable, right? To be able to allow that to even take place. And also too, if you're a leader, maybe you face some type of trauma in your life, you're not alone. And I'm here to tell you that you can overcome, you can get out on the other side. I remember someone asking me, what does it feel like on the other side of a heart block in one simple word? And for me, it's the first thing that came to mind was peace. Yes, peace. And so you can't face it. I believe in you. If you face some sort of trauma in this lifetime, I say face it, as difficult as it may be, face it. And so you heard me speak about domestic violence and all these things, but also too, we didn't really cover sexual assault. But for me, that's a lot of where the trauma stemmed from, which I talk about in the Overcoming Heart Blocks, Inspiring Stories for Healing from Trauma book. And so it required that I face it. Yes, the memories are there. We know that, and all these things, the flashbacks, but you need to acknowledge this happened. You cannot say, oh, well, it didn't happen and just act like nothing happened and move on. It's bound to come out regardless in some shape or form.
Right. So you acknowledge it. You mentioned Dr. Phil said, hey, you got to acknowledge there's a problem. So you got to acknowledge the trauma's there. You know, my good friend, Chris Smith, he's a former Navy SEAL. He's an amazing motivational speaker. He talks about residue. Everything that happens to us leaves residue. And that's the trauma. It's the trace effects of everything that's happened to us, positive and negative. We tend to focus on the positive, but we have to understand that little third grade Dan got picked on for one little thing, and that comes out right before he goes on stage. Sometimes he's thinking about, oh my gosh, what if that happens again, right? So we've got to acknowledge all those things, get the lesson from it, and then move forward. Dr. Gigi, so I in the answer to the question of 5 years ago to today, you talked about the people you serve.
Yes.
So would you say your transformation has been in that you are now more service focused and more focused on the people you serve than you were 5 years ago? How and what brought on that transformation?
No, I would say for sure that I always had what is called a servant's heart, leadership with a servant's heart. But here's the thing. I think that there's a lot of growth that takes place, right? Because here you are, you go in, right? You have this knowledge. Yes, you have this wisdom. But then now, as I mentioned earlier, you're now able to also learn from the people that you're serving. But you also have to allow that space to do so. Don't shut it out. Just because you may have obtained a degree of some sort or whatnot, don't shut out learning as well. Always be open-minded. Always be a student first and foremost. That's where you continue to learn and you continue to grow. Now, growth is truly the beauty of life, but you need to be able to allow yourself to continue to learn.
Right. And if you're not learning, you're not growing, right? And if you're not growing, well, then you're just stuck.
Exactly.
That is so good. Dr. Gigi, you've done so much. You're still doing so much. I would love let's take us back to a time where you felt like quitting and you didn't. What were the circumstances, and tell us about it? Have you had a moment like that?
Well, I can never really allow myself to get there, because why do I say that? Because of my faith. And it's bigger than me. It's bigger than I can even imagine. And having that faith as small as a mustard seed and understanding again whose I am and what I'm called to do is so much bigger than anything else. And it's I cannot give up. It's not an option.
Giving up is not an option. I love that as a mantra, and as a, you know, when you don't have that, when quitting is not an option,
It's not.
You just fight through it, right? Saying no, I'm going home, I'm taking my ball, and I'm going to go play somewhere else is not an option, because guess what? People need you. There are people you are serving from whom you are learning, and there are people who you are serving who are learning from you that are going to be better because of the work that you are doing. So, what about your clients? How do you help them overcome that thought when they say, you know, Dr. Gigi, I just don't think this is going to work. I'm going to go ahead and give up on this venture, and I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before, even though I hated it. It'll pay the bills, and my wife will get off my back, so I can, or my husband will get off my back and say, hey, let's contribute to the family fund.
One of my favorite advice to individuals who feel that way is, first and foremost, you're speaking to a motivational speaker. What do you think you're going to get? I'm not going to tell you can't do it. I'm going to tell you that you can get through it and that you can overcome. That's how much I believe in you.
Yes, I love that. And this is one that I love. You know, I've lived just a few years longer than you, Dr. Gigi. So, you know, I as you know, I coached my daughter in track and cross country, and I've been doing that for many, many, many years. But I also get the opportunity to sometimes meet some of those kids. And you know how your phone sometimes will bring up a memory? So it brought up a memory from 2007 the other day. And it was my last season coaching at this one school. And there was this young lady there, 13 years old. Well, you know, she's now a dentist and is doing fantastic. I'm friends with her dad. And so this picture came up, and I sent it to Dad. And I said, hey, David, look what came up on my memories. And he sent it to her. And the response back was, oh, such great memories of Coach Dominguez. Nothing but fond memories. Tell him I said hello. Have you had the opportunity? And the reason I bring that up, because it's so nice to hear that. Sometimes, you know, if that picture doesn't come up and I don't know her dad, I don't text it to him, he doesn't send it to her, and I don't get that positive feedback, right?
Yes.
But we are impacting people. We all impact people sometimes, and we don't even know that we're doing it. So have you had an opportunity to feel that ripple effect come back to you from someone that you've worked with, and maybe it's been a few years, or maybe it's months later, but they come back and share a story that makes you say, I know I was meant to do this, that I'm so glad I'm doing this because I just made a difference for that person?
Yes, all the time. And so it's so important to listen in, and it's again important to allow yourself to be able to continue to learn. And so I've had those moments a lot. It's not about me, it's about the people that I serve. And as we talk about events, we actually have our global endometriosis conference coming up here just in a few minutes at the top of the hour. I'm super excited.
Wow.
And I'm super excited to learn as well. Yep, just in a few minutes here at noon. Super excited.
So that's why you're dressed up. And if you, I'm going to give you an endorsement here, Dr. Gigi. If you are looking to work with someone who is just an absolute professional, Dr. Gigi is amazing at putting these global conferences together, bringing in people. But there's all the little things you do, like preparing promotional materials and getting everybody in the right place at the right time. I can't believe you're doing an interview just minutes from doing another event, but that's just how you are.
That's how he moves, right? And it's okay. And I'm so enjoying this right now, being in this present moment with you. It's so important to be in the moment. Life is short.
Yeah, I heard something the other day. The best way to not worry about running out of time is to just be present.
Yes.
If you live for right now, you're not going to worry about what's coming up next or what happened in the past. Dr. Gigi, what's one piece of advice you would give to somebody that is maybe struggling through either an abusive relationship or or is a survivor of sexual assault? You've overcome, both of those things, you've turned it into a positive. What would you say to someone who thinks, man, I don't know if I'm in this funk. I'm in the valley right now. When will I ever get out, or will I ever get out? What is the advice you'd give to someone to get out of there?
I tell that individual you can get through this, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But not just that, I highly recommend the Overcoming Heart Blocks, Inspiring Stories for Healing from Trauma book. This is a collaborative book with friends. Listen in and really, when you read what these individuals are saying, take note. Beautiful souls, and the fact that they were able to come forward and share what they shared, my God, bless their souls, brave souls.
Before we go, Dr. Gigi, let's let everybody know, how do you get a hold of Gigi? I know it's Life Service Center of America, LLC.com. So we'll put that in the show notes. That'll also have information on the upcoming Neurodivergent Leaders Conference. It'll have information about the event that you're going to in just a few minutes, and it'll have information about our Global Warriors Conference. Are you still looking for speakers for your Global Warriors Conference, or is that full and now we're just filling the attendees?
Yes, now the attendees, we're capped now with the speakers. We're not looking for any more speakers, but we are really looking forward to seeing you at the conference, and that's at the Hilton in Palm Coast, Florida. Get in the room. I cannot wait to see you.
I cannot wait to be in the room with you. I'm so excited that you decided to be on our show again, Dr. Gigi. We appreciate you so much. We're looking forward to seeing you in September. What do you say we end the show on that note?
I love it. Thanks so much, Dan. This was amazing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gigi. We will see you in July, and I'm sure we'll be talking before then. Have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful event. And listeners, don't forget to hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment, and share this podcast with your friends. If you got value out of the time that we spent together with Dr. Gigi today, reach out to her, reach out to us, look for us. And like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can get to 10,000 subscribers and then get to 100,000 and 1 million subscribers. We want to help everyone around the world lead different, and we want to bring amazing people like Dr. Gigi to you every week. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week on the Lead Different podcast.
Thank you, Dan. God bless.
Thank you, Gigi.
This is Lead Different.
Subscribe now. Discover a new era of leadership. Lead different because great leaders change the world.